just starting out in Final Fantasy XIV Online and you can't decide what class to play, well, stick with me because maybe I can give you some clarity. This is Mystic with Mystic Shepherd Gaming, and we are in Final Fantasy XIV Online. Now, as far as it goes, what class do you start out with? Some of the starting classes, it may be a little difficult to choose from, and then you've heard about the Dark Knight, you've heard about the Astrologian, you've heard about the Red Mage. Well, unfortunately, until you get to a certain level, you can't even open those up. So what I'm going to do is, in addition to having informed you of that, Samurai, you cannot start out with. Basically the base game classes, like, Marauder and Gladiator as far as tanks go. And as far as DPS, it would be like you have definitely more selection there. And at level 10, you do have some access to some other classes should you decide you don't like what you're playing. As far as healers go, initially it would be the Conjurer, which turns into the White Mage. But here's the thing. If you like DPSing and you're considering healing, then maybe the thing you would want to start out at is in Limsa Lominsa, and that would be the Arcanist. What they do is they are a DPS initially, but then when you hit level 30, you have a choice to branch off in both directions, either DPS or healer. I am on the Scholar, which is the healer version of the Arcanist. So, you can actually, in essence, that's the only class that you can become two things at level 30 from. So that would definitely be a way to go. You can then have a DPS and you can have a healer when you hit level 30 and you do the quest to become either or both. As far as tanks go, tanks in this game, basically you have there's different choices for the tank. Like, let's say Marauder. Marauder has an opportunity to do a little bit more damage once you have gotten to a certain level, and you get a little bit of healing back through your hits and moves and things like that. The Gladiator turns into a Paladin, which is a Paladin. If you've played other games and a Paladin can heal, they used to be able to res, and I've said it before, that's what a true Paladin does. They're a healer type tank. They're a holy tank, basically. But they took that away from the Paladin in this game, probably because, they just didn't have enough mana to be able to support resing anybody and maintaining their, the aggro, etc. So, I'm not going to recommend any one thing over another. It all depends on your gameplay, is the bottom line on, in this video. If you like, shooting a bow and arrow, then maybe that would be for you. In this game, in Final Fantasy XIV Online, you are definitely more support than DPS. You do DPS, and of course you would out DPS a healer or a tank, but you're gonna play songs while you are DPSing that help the group do critical hits, that help them as you're running from area to area. You can basically hit a move that makes everyone move faster to get to the next place. The Bard was what the Archer turns into, and it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. As long as you like doing the bow and arrow, you would probably like, the Archer. And that is one of the beginning classes. Another DPS is the Thaumaturg. I always mispronounce that. I apologize. They turn into eventually the Black Mage. It takes a lot of getting used to, and you have to move around and not get hit, especially when you're by yourself. And here's the problem with that. And I don't mean to say problem like it's a bad class. It is probably the most impactful as it hits. It does some serious damage. It takes some learning on the gameplay, is my point. It takes so many seconds. It's probably the longest cast times in the game. So you and if you see here, higher level, like end game type of moves, you have to move around. You can't just stand in place and take it to the face. Even the tank doesn't truly stand in place and take it to the face. So you have to really learn that class and be able to move around. And they do give you a few moves that make you be able to, like, quick move to another character, or one of the people in your group, and then move back to what a thing that's called ley lines. It's like the circle that you put on the ground, and anytime you move away from it for the however many seconds it's up, you can then hit this other move, and it takes you right back to that circle. So there are ways they do try and make it a little easier on people that end up being the black mage, which starts out in Ul'dah as the thaumaturg. And then, of course, there's like the pugilist who becomes the monk. Just again, it depends. Do you like to be close up, or do you like to be a distance fighter, when it comes to DPS? Personally, and all of this is my personal preference and my personal opinion, I do not like to be up close and personal. I like distance, because who knows, if you're going to miss seeing, I mostly play healer. Let me say that. I play healer 95% of the time. So when I say I'm more likely to miss a move that's about to happen and hit me in the face, it's because I am so used to watching life bars that even when I'm on a DPS, I am watching life bars like a dum-dum. So I tend to go with distance fighters, like, magic users and, the archer or whatever. And later on in the game, you open up red mage. I mean, that one's a blast. Dancer, oh my gosh, that's a blast. But I still end up playing healer, like I said, most of the time, because I love healing. I love keeping my group alive. Unfortunately, at this last boss, I didn't do such a great job, because this boss is just, when you're trying to think about your video and what you're doing, and then, etc., you tend to, I let my party down in this last boss. But so the tank, whether it has different abilities to heal back, to protect a group, to of course keep aggro. When you start out, you're not going to have so many moves on any of your classes. Let me say that. Don't think you're going to have all the moves that you see on my character, like, oh wow, look at all those things that you can do. No, this is level 80. You start out with one move, one spell, one thing. And after so many levels, you then get another one, and then you get another one, and then by level 30, then you kind of, for lack of better words, you specialize. You go from being, like, let's say, a gladiator to a paladin. You go from being the arcanist to a scholar and or a summoner. You go from being a archer to a bard. So then you really start getting more things. Up close and personal would be, at level 10 you can become a ninja, or not the ninja, it's actually something before the ninja. At 30 you turn to the ninja. So it just is a matter of personal preference, and also being able to get into the DLCs to open up maybe something you'd rather play more. I hope you found this helpful. If I missed something, if I didn't say something, please let me know. I'll make sure I put it in the comments. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you smash that like button, ring the bell to be alerted for future videos and or live streams, and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.